What's up, guys? This is a review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Episode 1. This was a ride. This episode was a ride because it is so over the top and so dramatic that it turns out as funny. Now, as far as the animation goes, for being for being episode 1, it was very well handled. It was very good in its animation, so good job, guys. As far as the style goes, I could understand that people might take some time to adjust with the style, but hopefully uh, you you would be able to enjoy that. You would be able to absorb it. For me, it didn't really took much long to adjust to it, because the overall atmosphere that it created, it very well suited the style, you know. The style basically is more like a comic book or a manga. The characters are drawn two-dimensional, and there are letters of kanji or hiragana that appear in certain situations, you know. So the color scheme is quite unique. It has mismatched colors. For example, the sky would be yellow, or the, the main character has blue hair. Yeah, so the color scheme could be very different, you know. Could be very unique. So it would take some time for people to adjust. Now, the other anime that I could remember which had unique style was Kantetsu, the Count of Monte Cristo, which I very very much like. I love that show. But they used wallpapers as background, as clothing, uh, but it took me some time to adjust. It took me like 5 episodes or so to adjust with the entire environment. But with JoJo, not so much. It took me just this episode to adjust, because the tone itself was so um, it was so funny. The anime knew what it was, and the anime knew what it was doing. So when they were doing these cliches, when they were doing when they were presenting themselves, they were able to poke fun of it. They were able to, have a laugh on themselves, you know. So that's the reason why it actually was able to please me, and I was able to absorb the whole situation without struggling to adjust with the anime. So as far as the episode goes, we are introduced to Jojo, which is Jonathan Joestar, and Dio Brando. So let's talk about Jojo first, because Jojo is your average goody two shoes, um, the kid who becomes the class monitor kind of a kid, you know, who would stand up, the righteous kid who would stand up against bullies, who would, you know, fight for the weak people, and would listen to his parents, and people like those. But he still is a kid, and he acts like a kid, rather a sissy kid for the matter of fact. But still, as a kid, as a person, he's very good. On the other hand, we have Dio Brando, who is an asshole, a complete jerk, a complete prick, and I would beat the shit out of him. But to the compliments for the anime, they do explain why he is such an asshole, because the way he was raised was in a tough environment where he had to survive. His father was a drunk bastard who pretty much um, worked his wife to death, you know. So he had to survive in such an environment, and I could understand his motives, but that does not justify his motives. That just, pretty much justifies his actions, you know. So Dio Brando, an asshole, complete douchebag. I just want to punch this kid in the face. Uh, what we see is that when Dio is introduced, he starts acting like an asshole to Jojo. He, kicks the family dog, and he pretty much punches Jojo himself, and he's like, "Look, dude, I'm not here to make friends with you. Okay, I'm here because my father saved your father's life. So I'm here to take over, and you can't do anything about it." And that's what he does. He basically takes over his friends. He takes over his father's liking, and basically he was a better gentleman. Oh, he was better presenting himself to the society than Jojo. So that's why everyone liked him, and that was a problem because not just everyone liked him, but they kind of started resenting Jojo. Okay, another character which is introduced in this episode is Erina, who basically is the love interest of Jojo, and this is where things actually kind of get a bit, in an episode itself, it kind of get a bit, you can say, uh, this is the point where things change a bit, and a few things are few plot points are also introduced. One of them was that she probably is going to be a reoccurring character, and when no one was friend with friends with Jojo, she was the one who was friends with him, and they were getting along very well. Dio, like an asshole, forces her to kiss him. Like, he doesn't even force her; he just grabs her and kisses her, and says that, "Ha ha ha! I stole Jojo's first kiss." And on its own, that is very douchey, that what he did. And she like wipes her lips the with puddle water, and she stops talking to Jojo because of that. Because if Jojo gets to know what has happened, he would go berserk, and she kind of runs away whenever Jojo is around her. So eventually Jojo does gets to know, and he goes to Dio, and he beats the shit out of him. Now, what Dio's plan was the whole time make was to turn Jojo into an empty husk, into a coward, so that in future when it comes to inheritance, his father would not see any worth in inheriting Jojo anything, and everything would go under Dio's hands, and that was his original motive: to become rich, to become powerful by demeaning, by pretty much turning Jojo into nothing. That's what his plan was, but it failed miserably, since Jojo wasn't someone who would take shit like that, and he comes up and he beats the shit out of him. But there was one thing that happened in this fight, which was that some blood of Dio drops on this mysterious mask, which was, by the way, introduced in the very beginning of the episode. Okay, when the blood drops, um, drop on it, and it kind of opens up, like these thorns come out of it from the edges, you know and it the falls off the wall. That kind of was interesting, and Dio and both Jojo kind of notices it. Now the fight gets interrupted when Jojo is winning by his father. And according to his father, since Jojo was winning and Jojo was beating the shit out of Dio, he thought that it was Jojo's fault to begin with, and he basically gets angry on both of them and tells him to go in their room. So that was the entire episode. You know, we get to know the personalities of our main characters, Jojo and Dio. So I'm looking forward for the next episode. You know, so what do you guys think about JoJo's Bizarre Adventures? Tell me in the comment section below. Till next time.